Hey everybody, it's Kyle. Hey listen, today's video is a warning, and please don't mistake my passion for anger, but it's about to get autism real up in here today. Yesterday, or last night, my son did a video for me that I posted this morning about the 4 A's of helping your typical sons feel, your typical kids feel loved, and he did the first A, and it got me to kind of feeling a little bit guilty about an experience I had recently that I want to share with you now. Kind of been hesitant to do this, but I think it's important to really share this because your sweet little angel, your sweet little autism angel, has potential to become a teen terror, and I want to share some things with you to kind of to help you understand how that can happen. So, and I'll start by telling you, a few years ago I took my son Eric to Zurcher's. It's a party store. My wife asked me to go over there, and I had Eric with me, and he's the older of my two on the autism spectrum. He was probably 8 or 9 at the time, and he didn't want to go, and so he was kind of fighting with me a little bit about it. And when we got there, I put him in a cart so he couldn't run away, and he started to scream like really loud. And because I didn't want to get frustrated and I needed to get this done, and I wasn't going to take him out. If I took him out, he would run, and I wasn't going to have that. So I just started singing some Shaka Khan. I'm a big fan. One of my favorite songs of all time is Ain't Nobody by Shaka Khan. And it always makes me happy when I think of that song. So I started kind of singing this song as he's screaming. And I was approached by a lady, and I'll call her Mrs. Smith. And she walked up to me and she said, "Can I ask you a question?" And I said, "Sure, yeah." And as Eric's screaming, she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I don't want to get frustrated with my son. He's on the autism spectrum, and it's kind of tricky for him, but I'm not going to take him out of the cart because he'll run off. And so to stay calm, I'm just singing my favorite song, and I'm going to let him scream all he wants. He's not getting out." And I had attitude about it, right? And turns out, and I wasn't singing to keep him calm. I was singing to keep me calm, right? He didn't care. He was screaming. He wanted out. Well, it turns out that Mrs. Smith has 2 sons, and I'll call him Johnny, who was 5 at the time on the spectrum, nonverbal, and Mikey, who was 4, just a year younger. And she told me I can't bring my son, and I said, "Why not?" She said, "Because he'll scream like your son." And I said, "Well, you see, my son's going to scream. I don't care. I really, honestly, don't really care what anybody in here thinks. I've got to do some things, and I'm not going to let him rule my life and rule what I can do and what I can't do. If it makes other people uncomfortable, I'm sorry, but I don't really care." And she said, "Well, I'm just tired of fighting, and I'm tired of never enjoying my son. I'm tired of all the rigidity and like walking around eggshells everywhere we go." And she said, "I'm kind of tired of being positive and motivated, and I'm losing hope. And I'm really tired of it just being so hard." Well, as she started to talk to me, I guess her soothing voice made Eric quiet down. And he and I both started listening, so I just started asking more questions, right? Eric's quiet. She seems like she needed to vent a little bit, and I was there. So I asked her, "What does Johnny do?" And she said, "Well, when he doesn't get his way, he'll really start to ramp up. You know, like if I had him in a cart and he didn't get out, he would start to scream louder. At home, he'll push his brother. He'll push the dog. Sometimes he pushes me. He'll throw things. He'll really just start to ramp up, and he even knocks over furniture. He'll kick holes in walls." And it was interesting because that sounded so familiar to me because we had experienced those same kind of things. And you know, I didn't tell her that, but I could feel the anxiety and what she was going through. And then she said, "You know, sometimes simple problems can just get crazy. Like, for instance, and I know you've probably experienced this, he loses a Lego piece, like a head." She said he'll start to scream and yell, and then these simple problems can get so crazy. For the next 15 minutes, we fan out and we look for everything. Me and my husband and Mikey are searching, and Mikey's 4. He doesn't know what he's doing, and my son is screaming and yelling and going crazy. And then 15 or 20 minutes later, maybe we find it and give it to him, and he calms down. And then 15 minutes later, he can't find another piece, and it ramps back up. She said such simple problems become such an issue for him. She said he'll even come into my room in the middle of the night and just hit me on the face to wake me up. And then she said something that really kind of struck me. She said, I love him so much. He's just so lucky that he's cute and adorable. And, you know, after hearing all this pain, I said, well, when is he cute and adorable? It sounds like to me he's a terror. And she said, no, I love him so much. He's so cute and adorable when he's asleep or when he's focused on something that he loves. Like he loves tractors. If he has a tractor in front of him or he's watching a tractor DVD or something, he's so sweet and so cute. Well, you know, this kind of connected us a little bit, and we kind of became distant friends a little bit. But I really lost track of her for a few years. And then just recently, she posted a Facebook memory of when Johnny and Mikey were 5 and 4. And Johnny was standing there grinning, holding something, I think a pile of tractors and books or something. And Mikey was crying. And you could tell he was crying really hard and really upset. And in the caption, she said that they were going to go to the grocery store as a family because that's what they needed to do. And Mikey was upset because Mikey knew what would happen when they went to the grocery store. And he just wanted to go with Mom or with Dad without Johnny because he knew there was going to be chaos and it was probably going to end early and there was going to be frustration and turmoil. And when I saw this, you know, I reached out to her. I reached out to her on Facebook and we got on the phone together and I said, how's it going? And she said to me, not so well. And you could tell she was in a lot of pain. Well, her sweet, cute little autism son was now a 15-year-old nonverbal teen terror. His behavior had ramped up. He was now hitting Mom and Dad, fighting like crazy with Mikey. Mikey had it. Now Mikey was in real trouble and was running away, trying to escape. She said, Mikey, I mean, he's supposed to be typical, but he's having more problems than Johnny. She said, he hates us. Mikey hates us. He hates Johnny. And we're in real trouble. And my husband and I are filing for divorce. We can't get along anymore. It's just too much stress. And, you know, it hurt my heart to hear this. And, you know, and I said, can you tell me what happened? And she said, you know what, I don't know. We thought if we could get Johnny to finally maybe get a communication device, that maybe that would make him less frustrated and then he'd be fine. So we did that, and he wasn't. Or maybe if we could finally get him potty trained at one point and we could fix his constipation, maybe that would make him feel better. And so we did that, but it didn't. And then maybe if we cleaned up his diet, maybe if we removed gluten or sugar or dairy or something, right? Or maybe we got him supplements, or maybe we could find some way to make him feel better physically. He would be better, and that would solve the problem, and he'd be fine. But it didn't. And then she said, you know, kind of our last gasp effort was ABA. She said, we just thought if we can get him to ABA, maybe we can find a combination that'll work for him and he'll start doing better and we'd be fine as a family. And she said, but it didn't. And then she said, she thought, well, maybe he'll just grow out of it. But he hasn't. And, you know, she started to express to me some real deep feelings about, she asked me, she said, am I just a horrible parent? She said, I've spent years working hard, doing my very, very best and working so hard. And this is my reward. An autistic son that hits me, that screams and yells at me, and a typical son that hates me. She said, thanks a lot, Mom. And it was like stabbing me in the heart to hear her say these things. And, you know, it's been on my mind for quite a while. And, you know, here's the warning, and here's where I'm going to warn you that if I get passionate, it's not because I'm angry. It's because I care. And I want you to know I'm telling you this in the spirit of love and caring, because I want happiness for your family. If you want to best serve your child on the spectrum and your family, now is the time to teach and model for your sweet little angel proper behavior. And letting them rule the house and being a slave to them is not helping them. Kids do what they do because it works. If they ramp up and get angry because it works, and they'll continue to do that forever. It's not something they'll grow out of. If they start to throw a fit because they're in the basket and you let them get down because they're throwing a fit, they're going to continue that behavior. And they're going to get bigger and stronger. And let me tell you, when testosterone hits, it gets tough. So the time is now to reset patterns. Stop trying to fix your kids and start to manage yourself in a way that teaches them discipline. It's hard. I know. We live the same life you live. But you know what? If you don't do the hard work now, it's gonna stay with you and get harder and harder. It's okay if they don't get everything they want. It's better if they don't get everything they want. I don't get everything I want. Nobody does. They shouldn't either. Sometimes it's better if they melt down or if they ramp up when they don't get their way. They shouldn't always get their way. Let them melt down. Let them go into fits of anger or frustration or whatever now, and don't give in. You can't do that because you'll be teaching them that the more angry or frustrated they get, the better of a chance they'll have of getting what they want. And that's a bad, bad pattern for us to set. It's okay to let your son scream his head off and not let him get out of the cart. You know, I'll never forget walking around in Zurchers that day. My son is screaming to get out. You know what? Here's what's interesting. Once he realized that didn't work, he took it to the next level. And he started saying, "Don't hit me. Don't hit me, Dad. Don't hit me." Well, I've never hit my son. But he knew that might be, he tried everything to get out of that dang cart. And at first I'm like, what? People started looking. He said, "Don't hit me, don't hit me." And I'm like, people started looking as if I hit my child. And I've never hit my child. But I thought, screaming and yelling is not getting what he wants. He's trying something new, right? So I would say, "I don't hit you. Why would I hit you?" And I said it, and I would sing Shaka Khan to try to keep myself calm. It's okay to teach him that he's got to find his own Lego piece. Or maybe he doesn't find his Lego piece on his own, or he won't have it. Even if he goes ballistic, he won't do it forever. I promise you, I know. We've lived and experienced this. We've got to let these kids have experiences that they don't get their way so that they can know they won't always get their way no matter what they try. Giving in to everything they want is a bad idea. Listen, you're already working crazy hard. I know that. I know you have to when you have kids on the spectrum. Do the things that lower stress and lower tension and bring back happiness. Don't just give in. You're not that sweet little angel of yours. I know. You look at them when they're sleeping and you say, "I love them so much. They're so sweet." They grow up. And that behavior is not sweet at 14 and 15 and 17 and 22. That behavior gets them put in prison. We've got to teach them now. And that's hard for us. We're going to have to put them through pain. They don't get to escape that. We don't either. The time is now to reset patterns. Stop trying to fix your kid. Stop trying to do everything to fix him so that he'll feel better and he'll act right. Fix yourself. Start to manage the situation in a way that lets them know they have to have discipline. Listen, kids will respond to discipline in a loving home. That's where they need to learn discipline. Because if they don't find it now, when they get out of your house and they do these things, the world doesn't care. The world will discipline them, and they don't love them like we do. It's our responsibility to love them and discipline them in a spirit of love and teach them what they can and can't do. Please, please, I'm begging you, do it now. Don't wait like the Smiths have. Don't hope they grow out of it. Don't keep trying all these things thinking, if I can just get him to try this or do this, he'll be okay and he'll stop. No. You've got to accept who they are and what they do, and you've got to manage yourself and stop your behavior. It hurts my heart to talk to Mrs. Smith. It hurts my heart to think that Johnny is hitting his parents, and he's in pain. He doesn't know what to do. He's doing what he's been taught to do. And Mikey, running away, He hates his brother. He hates his family because of what's happened and the patterns that have been set. It's time to break those patterns. Do it now. By the way, if you've got teens and they're in trouble, comment. I'll send you a link to how to manage your out of control teen. You can do it. It's never too late to break patterns and reset who we are as parents and reset those kids and set them up for success. I want so bad for you. We want for you what we have as a family, and that's happiness. We've lowered stress and lowered tension, and there's so much happiness in our home. And guess what? We have 2 sons on the spectrum. They still melt down sometimes. They still, when they can't find a bionicle piece, freak out. But you know what? We don't capitulate to everything. They know they've got to figure some things out on their own. I don't care how autistic they are. I don't care if they're nonverbal, classic, functional. It doesn't matter. We need to teach them through modeling behavior that they can manage themselves in a way that allows them to have success and be happy. Capitulating to their every want and scream and yell and kick and punch is not effective. I promise you. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to your kids on the spectrum. Listen, I want for you happiness. It's why we do what we do. We want you to experience what we have. And we want to teach you. If you want to know what we do, click on the link, check us out. But please don't just do nothing. If you've got problems with them now, don't let them escalate. Don't do nothing. Do what works. And we can help you with that if you want. Hey, have a great day. I'm sorry this video is so long. Just had to get it off my chest. Have a great day. I care. We care. Let us help you if you need it. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.